With this horizon, it is easy to see why Rwanda is called the land of 1,000 hills. More than half of the population makes a living farming these lush lands. In 1994, however, this water-soaked soil became a tribal killing ground. An estimated 800,000 Rwandans murdered in just 100 days, mainly Tutsis at the hands of radical Hutus. The tension between the tribes stemmed from Belgian colonizers dividing Rwandans by ethnicity. They felt Tutsis were superior, and in the 1930s mandated all Rwandans carry ID to indicate their ethnicity.
We need to help one another. That is the only thing that is keeping us alive.
It's hard to tell Rwanda's genocide story without a stop here at the Hotel Mikoline. It served as a refuge for some 2,000 Rwandans during those 100 dark and bloody days. The hotel was also made famous in the film Hotel Rwanda.
Listen to me, good people of Rwanda.
This scene recalls April 6, 1994, the moment that ignited the genocide.
Horrible news. Our great president is murdered by the Tutsi cockroaches. They tricked him to sign their phony peace agreement. Then they shot his plane from the sky.
The truth about who shot down the president's plane is still not known, but the violence that followed will never be forgotten.
They took my child and they cut her in 2 pieces.
April 29, 1994. Alice Makarinda lost her arm, her child, and nearly her life.
The Interahamwe militia had operating hours. There was a whistle that would go at 10 a.m., marking the start, and at 3 p.m., marking the end. And so we knew those hours and we would go and hide. On that day, we did the same. We would either hide under the dead bodies when we heard them come to start shooting, or dig a place to hide.
Scars mark the beating and mutilation Alice endured after soldiers found her and her baby in hiding. They brutally beat her husband before rescue workers pulled him to safety.
When he started to come back to his senses, he remembered that they had left me. He asked the military and the police to take him back to where I was.
Genocide ended in July 1994. Paul Kagame, now the president, led a rebel group to seize control of the country. Since then, he's worked toward unity. There are no longer Hutus or Tutsis, only Rwandans. President Kagame reaffirmed his commitment to never see history repeated at an event marking the 25th anniversary of genocide's end.
Every day, we learn to forgive, but we do not want to forget.
Ananias Santosi is operations manager for the humanitarian organization World Vision. He says choosing to forgive is what's moving the country forward. After the genocide, World Vision was on the ground with first aid, food, and medicine. It also played a major role in reconciliation.
You cannot think of long-term development if people are disconnected, united.
The radical Hutu militia pushed propaganda and encouraged citizens to participate in the killing of Tutsis and moderate Hutus. After the genocide, many of those responsible flooded the criminal system, but President Kagame refused to kill as punishment and abolished the death penalty. Instead, he offered another solution, a system of community courts called Gacaca. It allowed criminals to confess and seek forgiveness.
I started forgiving myself when I stood in front of the court.
Emmanuel Nadiyaseba confessed his crimes after prison, became a community-building volunteer, and while working, he realized he was actually on a team with one of his victims, though she had no idea who he was.
We both joined the Association of Peace Building and Reconciliation that World Vision was involved in.
After her attack, Alice said a prayer.
I wanted to be close to God and not just be on the surface.
Asking God to bring her to those who wronged her and to lead her to forgiveness. She didn't think her prayer would be answered. And then Emmanuel asked to speak with her.
I was always sweaty. I was always nervous. Everything was hot everywhere. I fell down on my knees and raised my hands up and told her that I am the person who was responsible.
The next thing I remember, I was at the hospital. I didn't respond. I guess I was in shock.
I was still on my knees when she fainted, and they took her away.
Days later, Alice asked to meet with Emmanuel and only asked he apologize to her family. She then became an advocate for him in court.
I was able not to go back to prison.
It's only God. I can't explain it. It's only God. Nothing else. No one else.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Rwanda.